Hey everybody, we are now live. Welcome to Hump Day Hangouts. This is episode 306. Today is the 23rd of September 2020, and this is the last Hump Day Hangout before Pofu Live 2020. So if you have not got your ticket yet, head over to pofulive.com. We still got some open seats left. The VIP tickets are gone. There is one VIP plus ticket left, and we got, again, some extras for the main tickets where you can still get access to all of the presentations, to the case studies, and then you can pick up the executive summaries, and you'll get access to the recordings. So again, if you haven't yet and you didn't see the emails, that we keep stacking some pretty good bonuses, and then this last one, I don't want to give it away. If you're not on the email list, you need to hop on the list first. That's the only way you're going to get it. But we've got a free consultation going with one of the presenters who's doing work as a digital marketing and SEO agency with Fortune 500 companies. So enough said. That's just a little teaser because everyone on the email list is getting a shot at that. So before we dive into questions and talk some more about Pofu Live and what all is going there, I'm going to say hi to everyone real quick. So I'll start at the bottom and work my way up. We got Hernan. Hernan, are you wearing a nice sweater today? You look kind of nice. Oh man.
I'm excited about Pofu, man. I'm excited about Pofu Live. Pofu Live is coming, bro. Where the fuck is your ticket? Go to pofulive.com and get your ticket.
All right. I'm not sure whether to be scared or excited, but either way, I get what Hernan's throwing down. So I think, what are you trying to say? That people should come join us at Pofu Live?
They should go to pofulive.com. I went live on the Facebook group, I think, today, talking about my my topic for Saturday. Mm-hmm. It's going to be pretty awesome. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to what you guys have to share, but I'm excited about what I have to share as well. So it's going to be pretty cool.
Definitely. I am looking forward to all of them. So let's move up here. Marco, how you doing today? You're looking a little different. You kind of look dressed up too. You got a collar on. Hey. You know, it's biz cash.
Look, I had to break up my vintage shirts. Somebody commented on it from a previous Hump Day Hangout. Someone said, "Hey man, nice shirt, like your shirt, whatever." So I said, "Hey, you know, I got other vintage shirts. Let me start breaking them out." And I got a place that I order from also where they have like a whole stack of shirts, man, from, I don't know, Hawaiian and all these different shirts. So there you go. And need I say more?
Groundhog Day.
Pofu. It's Groundhog Day, man. But this is my Pofu, right? We define it as doing what you want to do instead of what you have to do in whatever it is, right? And even when you have to do something, it's because it's what you want to be doing. Think about that. It sounds it's like an oxymoron, having to do something that you want to do or wanting to do something that you have to do, but it is. How we do it is going to be shared on Saturday. Well, this weekend, not Saturday, it starts Friday, but Friday is going to be a drink off Bradley against anybody who comes up. So there you go. I'm putting my money down on Bradley.
That is awesome. Yeah, I think we just had one of the VIP attendees. I'll have to go and check if he posted his picture yet. He said he got his beer delivered. It's in the fridge and ready to go. So looking forward to that on Friday. I am not going to challenge Bradley. I've learned my lessons and meeting up with you guys. That
what are y'all trying to say?
Is good. I'm just saying I feel it after we get together, man. We have a good time, but I got to detox after we meet up. Yeah. So it's not just you, man. It's not just you. Oh man. All right. Well, Marco is going to be kicking off Sunday at Pofu Live. So he has got the first talk after we get things going on Sunday. So looking forward to hearing what you're going to be throwing down, Marco.
I shared, but my mini mastermind gets most of my stuff, man. I'm not going to say all because you got to keep one in the chamber, man, just in case. You know, people can turn on you and you got to be able to pop them off. So just in case I keep one back, but they get most of it. So they got a little taste of what I'll be doing during my presentation. And you know how I titled my presentation, right? Like last year, of course, it's all in your fucking head. And that's what I went with. Now this year is going to be find out on Sunday.
Outstanding. Well, speaking of Sunday discussions and presentations, Chris, how are you doing today?
Doing super well here. Still summer here, surprisingly. So yeah, and I still have a little bit of work to do for my presentation. So like a bit of fine tuning, but what I got so far is super exciting. So be excited as well.
Cool. All right. And we were just everyone who's watching right before we went live. I think Bradley, you said you're doing a bunch of work on what you're going to be talking about, right? You said you were just cranking out some lead gen or prospecting stuff.
Yeah, I'm still working on my prospecting machine that I set up. It's working really well. I just started. I had done it before with some different applications and such, and I'm using a new app now that kind of combined everything all into one. And it's working really, really well. I've been prospecting pretty heavy this week, and I've got several appointments for lead buyers, for tree service guys to buy leads from my own assets. But yeah, it's working really well. And I keep adding to the prospecting machine to make additional automations. So like even more follow-ups get added to it all the time. So it's a work in progress. Even what I'm going to be teaching about is that this weekend for POFU Live. But it's not done. It's not complete in that I keep adding to it. So over the course of the next couple of months, POFU Live attendees, we have a membership area. And so I'm going to continue to add to that, just like we did last year and the year before, so that we can add, I can continue to refine it, make it better, and provide that to the POFU Live attendees. And once it's finalized to where I've got it to where there's not a whole lot of tweaking left to do, then that's when I'll end up sharing it through in the mastermind as well. So that's usually within, 6-8 weeks after the POFU Live event. I usually end up sharing what I shared at POFU Live in the mastermind, bits and pieces of it anyways. So I think it's going to be pretty valuable. It's working really well for me, and I just hope that other people can put it to use for them as well.
Outstanding. All right, and just before we got on here, I just updated POFU Live page. We've been going back and forth with our last potential speaker, as well as he's going to be presenting a case study. So I'm really happy about this. Jeremy Notzman, owner of Press Advantage, is going to be joining us. So on Sunday afternoon, he's got a case study lined up, going to be about driving traffic with mass content syndication. He also might be pulling back what do I call it? Not pulling back the curtains on a project he's working on. So we'll see about that, but really excited to have Jeremy joining us. Of course, we're going to have Jordan Fowler, Jeffrey Smith, Brian Caddo, and all of us you're seeing here are all going to be giving presentations. On top of that, Rob Beal, all right, guy running MGYB, and Dedia. If you have ever been on a POFU Live, you've probably heard one of us mention Dedia. Dedi's going to be there talking about the link building wizardry, giving some insights there that everyone can put to use. So like I said, head over to pofulive.com. We are going to shut down ticket sales at midnight on Friday so that everyone has a chance to get the info they need and be there sharp and early at 9 a.m. this Saturday. And you're going to get to look at Hernan dancing in his sunglasses the whole weekend. No, just kidding. If you want, we'll make him not do that. So anyways, regardless, we're looking forward to seeing you there. If you have any questions, either leave them on the page here or just shoot an email to support@semanticmastery.com, and we will get you sorted out as quick as we can.
One more thing that I need to comment on, because you mentioned Jordan. Like our presenters are rock stars. Jeffrey always brings the heat. I mean, all of our people. But Jordan, his presentation is going to focus on content. How to get your content razor sharp, because we talk about this is our mini mastermind. This is what takes place. We talk about how to get that content razor sharp for the AI, right? For the artificial intelligence, so that you focus right on the bot. You're presenting your entity the right way, correctly. So he's showing how you can focus your content to activate this bot, so you can tell the bot exactly what your website is about. Because if you leave the bot to guess, I don't give a shit how good that AI is. It's going to screw it all up. Now, on top of that, he's going to show us fortunate enough to attend, how to monetize it. So you're gonna make your money back. How many times, like how can you put a price on someone teaching you how to monetize the content that is razor sharp already to produce results? So think about this. So and the guy's a master. You guys know what he's doing out in his neck of the woods in a roughly 20 million person metropolitan area, metroplex. So, he's killing it. He's killing it. Brian is out there in his neck of the woods doing the thing he does. People in my mini mastermind, which somebody's going to be lucky enough to be able to join my mastermind. So you get access to all of this. And they're just, like, if you're not hyper focused on getting to POFU or how to get to POFU, how to getting razor sharp for that process, then we'll help you along the way. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, man. I don't know what that's worth. I can't tell you. Let my guys tell you what it's worth being in that mini mastermind.
That's awesome. Yeah, I should have definitely talked about all of those a little bit more, but I'm glad you brought that up, Marco, because that is going to be some powerful stuff. So I know a little bit about what Jordan's been doing, some of the success he's had. So that's just, I mean, I'm looking forward to all of these, but that's another one I'm looking forward to. I can see some great opportunities where I can put it to use for not only myself, but potentially clients. Not even do SEO for clients anymore, but there's some great stuff here that, you know, could be either add-on services, or again, doing it for my own projects or ourselves. So really looking forward to that. Thanks for adding that. All right, guys, anything else before we dive into questions? Nope. All right, Bradley, let's do it.
All right, let me grab the screen. First, let me make sure I've got all my sensitive tabs closed or hidden.
Wink, wink.
Yeah. Call it what you want. All right, let's do this. You guys are seeing my screen, correct?
Yeah,
good
slowly.
to go.
Now we can.
Okay. All right, so let's see, where do we start?
Also, how about this, man? When it rains, it pours. We have got the questions today.
Jeez, oh man, yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thanks everybody for all the questions. Yeah, let's I guess let's dive into this.
Okay, cool. Let's start here. 3 Lazy Cats was from 7 days ago. I believe this was right at the end of the webinar or the Hump Day Hangout last time, but we'll answer it now. Is there a WordPress plugin for adding schema to a blog that you recommend? The only one that I use for adding schema that has like schema, like a schema generator in it is SEO Ultimate Pro. There's other plugins out there that do it, but I don't know. I've not used any of them. So the only one that I recommend is SEO Ultimate Pro. Do we have a link for that, guys, or no?
Yeah, let me grab that.
Anybody else have a comment on that?
SEO Ultimate Pro, absolutely. The header inserter, where you can insert custom code. Like I'll go and because I like doing my own coding, my own schema. But the inserter code allows me to control it where it goes, like by post, by page, what goes where. So I really like that function, man, because you can get down into the nitty gritty. I've also coded my own plugin, which if you're of course one of our paying members, I'll probably give you access to that where you can dynamically insert schema. This is especially for e-commerce, because I've been doing some e-commerce lately. And so if you need to insert schema, custom schema, and there's things that change because you have products, then I've developed a plugin that will dynamically insert that schema. So it's pretty good. It works pretty well.
Yeah, to be clear, if you already have schema code that you just want to add to different pages, there's a number of plugins that will do that. Like Sogo Add Header Footer is one of them. There's a number of plugins that you can do for that. But if you're looking for a plugin that will generate schema code or structured data, that's why I mentioned SEO Ultimate Pro, because it actually has both of those functionalities in it. One is on every page or post, it has a schema code generator at the bottom so that you can mark up the content or the elements of that page or post. But then also there's the code inserter module and the code inserter plus module in SEO Ultimate Pro, so that you can add code to different pages or posts or, media files or whatever it is that you want to do. You can add to those as well. So it actually does both of those things. It will generate structured data as well as it will allow you to insert code via the code inserter module into, various pages and posts and get very granular. So there's a lot of control available in that plugin. Sweet. Okay, moving on. The next one is Oleg. It says, hi, SM. I watched your recent Hump Day Hangout video, and Bradley mentioned he followed Network Empire when he got started. Yes, I did. Is there any old WebBring videos? Is any of their old WebBring videos still relevant? If so, can it be used together with drive stacks as taught by Semantic Mastery? Thanks. Yeah, there's no doubt. They're still relevant. So, it's interesting, but the syndication networks that I built, I was building before I even knew about Network Empire. I didn't get introduced to Network Empire, I think, until 2013, I believe, when I went to Nashville for, what was it? OMG Live in Nashville. That's when I got introduced to Network Empire. So I was already doing what Network Empire considers what they call Web Ring 1, right? So WR1s, which is building branded properties, syndicating content to it or republishing to those. But I was doing that already with syndication networks and IFTTT. And so, but yes, when I went, that's why I was so attracted to Network Empire, because when I got introduced to them at the OMG Live event in 2013, they started talking about WR1s and WR2s and all this stuff. And I was just like, that's exactly what I've been doing with syndication networks. And at that time, I didn't fully understand why syndication networks worked so well. But that's where Network Empire came in, is they really took that idea that I was already using and kind of expanded on that for me, so that I got much more knowledge as to why that worked. And again, that was really the beginning of the semantic web. And that's why when we formed our company, we called it Semantic Masteries, because it was about developing those semantic relationships between all those properties, increasing your brand footprint online. All of that is still absolutely relevant today. Some of the methods may have changed slightly, but as far as the theory behind it, it absolutely is applicable to even projects today. So there's a wealth of information that you can get from them as well. There's no question about it. I've got nothing bad to say about Network Empire at all. So anybody want to comment on that?
No, I don't know enough about what they're doing now to be able to comment. I mean, what they were doing, yes, a lot of it, I would say it isn't even necessary going out any further than tier one. The way that we would do it is through link building and I guess you could call them kind of like rings, kind of like, but it's not. It's different. The way that our approach is a little bit different now. But yeah, totally. Their branded ring and their what they call their golden frame. Mm-hmm. I know that's still relevant. How they do it and where they do it, like I can't say. I can't say. I can only comment about what we're doing now and how we approach the semantic web.
So the follow-up question on that was, if so, can it be used together with drive stacking as taught by Semantic Mastery? Absolutely. That's what, I mean, again, that's kind of what Marco was just saying was, you know, the way that they teach building out, they teach something similar in that the WR1s and WR2s are almost like SEO shields, right? Which is what we do with drive stacks, except we just use Google properties to create that SEO shield. And why? Because as Marco always calls it or says, we're in the belly of the beast. And we're basically using Google's own narcissism against itself to benefit our own properties. But yes, again, the Network Empire training works very well in conjunction with our training. And even today, I know that they still use, drive stacks and such. A lot of their members actually buy drive stacks from us. So I don't know why you'd buy them anywhere else, to be honest with you. Alana's up next. She says, "Hi guys, just wondering why you use the Google/URL ? Q equals in front of your Web 2.0 and links in your gstack properties." Margo, do you want to reveal why we do that?
No, it's not something that I'll get into in a free group. We get into the why in Heavy Hitter Club. We get into the why in RYS Academy Reloaded and the Semantic Mastery Mastermind. Otherwise, not something I'll talk about.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's why I asked Marco, because there's a specific reason why we do that, but it is something that we talk about in the paid group, so I didn't want to reveal that here. Unfortunately, Alana, let's just say it's beneficial to do it that way. So that's why we do that. But far beyond that, the next question is, and by the way, if the Heavy Hitter, or excuse me, if Semantic Mastery Mastermind is too much for you as far as a monthly commitment, or several grand on RYS Academy is too much for you, then join Heavy Hitter Club, right? And that's technical SEO stuff where, so a lot of the stuff that's covered in Heavy Hitter Club is also covered in the Mastermind, but the Mastermind also covers about business building, management, outsourcing, prospecting, client, getting all that kind of stuff. So there's different levels for reasons, right? If you just need technical SEO advice, Heavy Hitter Club is your best bet. So I would encourage you to go check that out. Is this what you mean by jump links or a type of redirect? Well, that's a redirect. That's a type of redirect specific to Google, but it's not a jump link. A jump link is when you have an anchor link. And I don't mean anchor text link. I mean an anchor link. So you can just go to Google and search, what is an anchor link, right? And if you'll look, probably W3 Schools will come up and you can read about what an anchor link is, but that's essentially like a table of contents on a page. You know what I'm saying? So like, for example, if you can create a link like an in-page link, so that when you click on that link, it jumps to a specific spot on that page. It's very easy to set up. Again, go to W3 Schools or just go to Google and search anchor links, create anchor links, or what is an anchor link, and you'll read about it. And it's very, very simple code to create anchor links. And those are very, very powerful because you can link to specific parts of a page. It doesn't have to just be an in-page link. What I'm saying is you create the anchor link, but you can link to that specific part of a page or a post externally, right? So you can use link directly to that. So that's what a jump link is. They're very, very powerful. We use them very strategically, and you can get really good results from that. Anybody want to comment on that?
All of this, as you said, is readily available if you search Google, and you'll know what a redirect is and what a jump link is. How we use them and how we strategically place these to get the maximum effect is, again, something that we only deal with in the paid groups. And if I see you, as a matter of fact, commenting about my shit in other groups, especially in the free groups, I get very upset, and I'll call you out on it, because I don't want that. This is what's ridiculous to me, man. So you pay a whole lot of money to come and learn from us, to come and get a strategic advantage over everyone else. Then you go to a free group and try to look good by thinking that you're looking like a pro, like an expert ninja, fucktard, whatever the fuck it is that you're trying to look like. And you're giving away the shit that you're paying for. How stupid is that? Come on, man. Come on. Think. I see it, and I see you. I see you when you go and do it. You think that I don't, or someone will come and say, hey, Marco, someone's sharing your shit. And I'll get, sure enough, there I go. And then I'll reach out to you privately, and you're not going to like that, just so you know. So
to clarify, or to be clear, that wasn't directed at Alana, was it?
No, absolutely, because she's not one of our members.
Okay. So that was just a general comment.
I'm just saying, it's a general comment to people who are paying us and then going and sharing. Now, I only share the good stuff in the paid groups, or once it's become general knowledge as to why and how. But the why and how, keep that unfair advantage to yourself. So Alana, if you go and you invest your time, your hard-earned money and time into learning all these things, would you then go and give it away? Oh, absolutely not. Keep your advantage. Your time that you spend coming to here and asking us questions and going into Google and researching costs you money. So don't give that away. Go and apply the shit that you learn, and like totally rock your providers or that person that you're doing SEO for. Rock his world, rock her world, and then charge more money. But don't go give it away, because then what value do you have to offer that somebody else can't? And they'll undercut you. They'll find out who it is that you're doing work for, and they'll come in at a lower price with the shit that you gave away.
Yeah,
it's on you.
Okay, so she's got a few more questions here.
Sure.
Wow, we got a lot to go through today, so I'll try to run through this very quickly. Few paid traffic questions. You've mentioned using paid traffic at the start of your SEO campaign to give Google a heads up about you. When would you start using it? Straight away, or once you have all your stacks, citations, and everything set up? You know, it just depends. Typically, it depends on what the project is for me. Generally, I will run inexpensive traffic, which can be achieved through YouTube, but more likely for clicks directly to web assets, whether it's a money site or Google properties. Display ads work really, really well for that, because the thing about YouTube, which might answer the next question, YouTube ads are more about views to the video, right? Don't get me wrong. If it's a good video, if there's a compelling offer, then you will receive some clicks from the video to whatever destination or target that you want to drive the traffic to. But YouTube is more about, I use YouTube ads or Google ads for video specifically more for helping the video to rank, or also for branding purposes, right? So I use YouTube ads to help the video rank if I'm trying to have a video rank, but I really don't care about a video ranking so much anymore. I really just don't. Oftentimes it will rank because of relevant traffic coming to it, but the engagement signals that you're buying from Google. But I honestly don't really care much about ranking videos anymore, because I get all the traffic I want from using Google ads, and it's inexpensive. So there's really no reason for me to go through the trouble ranking videos. A byproduct of relevant engagement, relevant views to a video is that it will often rank if the video is optimized to rank. So besides that, I use YouTube ads to create branding, more or less branding campaigns to constantly expose the brand to potential customers, right? So it's not so much about driving traffic from the video to the destination, although I always put a call to action, right? There's always a call to action to click, but I don't get a whole lot of clicks from that. I do get clicks, don't get me wrong, but I don't get a whole lot of them. It's more about views. So that said, display network ads though, Google display network ads, when somebody clicks one of those ads, it goes directly to the destination, right? So it's not the same as watching a video. Remember with a YouTube ad, it's a two-step process. First is to get the video seen. The second is to get somebody to click from within the video to the destination, which is where you want them to go. But with a display network ad, it's a one-step process. The click goes directly to your destination. So I like to use Google display network ads for kind of activating SEO work that I've done. And for that, I'll drive it directly to usually the money site. Sometimes if it's a local project, to the GMB website or to the Google map, because both of those are good signals as well. So usually I just wait until the money site is ready for some traffic and I have the GMB set up, the Google My Business profile set up. I don't usually have to wait. I don't usually wait until like I have all the syndication network and drive stack and everything else done, because I don't typically drive traffic to any of those properties. You can, but I just usually drive clicks to the money site, the GMB website, or the GMB map. And those are the three things that I typically drive to traffic to. And with that, again, like I said, it's most of the time I use Google display network ads because they're very, very inexpensive. You can get really, really granular with your audience targeting. So it's a relevant audience. Your geographic targeting, you can get granular with that as well. So you can get highly relevant clicks from specific geographic areas, especially if it's for local, from known audiences that are in market or are interested in. By Google knows that they're in market or highly likely to be interested in whatever the product or service it is that I'm promoting. Does that make sense? So hopefully that was cleared that up. You mentioned using YouTube to drive traffic. Are you creating videos around your niche and running traffic?
Sorry to interrupt you. I wanted to say that this also applies if you want to do some Facebook traffic or Facebook ads. I've started working with a client that, they had like, I don't know, 3 years worth of content, but their SEO wasn't as good. So I started working with them in the SEO side of things. And what happened is that I started running some Facebook ads for their desired demographic and also for relevant, locations and whatnot. And that started moving the needle without doing anything else, because I think that also comes from, you have a digital persona, you have a digital footprint. So of course, Google traffic would be better, but, Facebook traffic, especially traffic to blog posts that they had, actually started pushing the blog post a little bit up better, just because of the fact that we were getting real traffic, real interaction, real signals. People were staying in the site, they were visiting several websites and whatnot. So I think that could be also an alternative, and it's also cheap traffic. So that's also an alternative. So if you drop like Facebook traffic on the zip codes that your potential customer or client wants to serve, I think that could help as well, kickstarting your SEO for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
We call it the art of art, right? Activity, relevance, trust, and authority. How you get the activity in there is essential. I mean, you don't have the 3 pillars unless you can achieve that. Ads for branding especially are crucial. We're in the semantic web.
Yeah.
We have to make our entity clear. We have to make everything about our entity clear. They're calling it things, not strings, but it's still keywords. I don't care what they call it, it's still words. And it's still a sequence of numbers. At the end of the day, it's all math, right? But we have to still present that to Google in such a way that it makes a difference from any other visitor who's not really interacting with your website. I mean, think of the billions of people who access the web, and how many of those people will come to your website and actually interact with whatever it is that you're presenting really makes a difference. And so sometimes we achieve that without any paid traffic.
Yes.
Using paid traffic, I mean, we can't, and I often do, but using paid traffic strategically to reinforce the brand and to get people to notice the brand and to give people signals about the brand, because they'll often go and search more about the brand. So while you can't see this from the ad necessarily, or they'll tell someone about the website that they saw all of these things coming together, total that activity, then there's the relevance cinched in there. And then there's the trust and authority coming in, because Google sees that people are giving you the information that you're looking for, that they're taking the action that you're looking for on the website. All of this coming together is what we call the art of art. You can't have it without one of the three pillars missing. So if you're looking at your project and you're trying to determine what's wrong, it's generally one of those three things. And the process, our process, takes care of all three. If it's sick in one way, we know exactly what part of our process takes care of the activity, the relevance, and the trust and authority.
There you go. So the next says, you mentioned using YouTube to drive traffic. Are you creating videos around your niche and running traffic to them, or buying ad space on audiences you want to target? Yeah, I mean, again, it's about, I like to try to use in-market audiences or life event audiences, which are predefined audiences. However, you can create custom audiences. There used to be custom intent audiences, and then there was what's called an affinity audiences too, which was already defined audiences. Custom intent is where you submit the criteria to Google Ads to define an audience. And I've talked about that extensively in some of our trainings. Again, Adam, I know I ask this all the time, but do we have a link to the YouTube Ads for Local course? I don't know if we have.
Let me grab that.
Okay, because that's a course that will help you out a lot, Alana. It's YouTube Ads for Local. You can apply that even if it's not for local. You can still apply the same strategies to a national campaign or whatever. But I go in very specifically on how to create custom intent audiences. And now they're called custom audiences. Google, over just like the past week or so, has actually merged affinity audiences and custom intent audiences. But the point that I'm trying to make is I always try to buy traffic from relevant audiences, both topically, right, which would be like an in-market audience or a life event audience or custom audience that I define what the criteria or the parameters are, and also geographic. If it's for local, which everything I do is for local. So if it's for a geographic or a local project, I always set geographic targeting as well. So yes, I'm specifically buying engagement signals from a specific audience, right? Last is if you do produce videos, say you have a local roofer, what sort of content would you produce? Q&A type of stuff? No, I don't produce videos at all. I stopped doing that years ago, other than the stuff that I do for Semantic Mastery and a lot of client videos, like in other words, like videos for prospecting and that kind of stuff. I don't produce like lead gen videos and things. I just don't do it anymore. I go to Fiverr and I buy them there. And I've got some providers at Fiverr that I use regularly to create commercial-like type videos, right? I provide maybe some images or perhaps some images with some short video clips that then they incorporate into the video that they make. And then usually I provide a script, and they either provide the voiceover, or I will either record the voiceover myself and submit the voiceover to be added to the video when they render the video, or I'll hire a voiceover from Fiverr, voiceover talent, to record the voiceover. A lot of times I just record the voiceover myself because I write the script. So I just record the audio file and then send that when I order the gig from Fiverr, and they produce the video. And there are some pretty good providers in there for, $50. You can get a really nice video created with a voiceover track, background music, and everything, 30 to 60 second video for around $50. Some are more expensive, but you can find decent providers on Fiverr. And that's what I do. Again, it's more about the branding for YouTube ads than it is about producing traffic, although you will get some relevant traffic if you've got your targeting right. Okay. Have I used Reddit for ads for local? No, I've never been a fan of Reddit. I've always hated Reddit just because I just always hated it. So no, I've never done anything with Reddit whatsoever. And anytime years ago, when I tried to do any SEO stuff in Reddit, my Reddits would always get deleted or my accounts would get suspended. So I don't do anything in Reddit at all. Anybody want to comment on Reddit?
No, I can't comment on Reddit because it's a foreign beast to me. I don't understand it. I don't understand people in Reddit, because the same people in Reddit will have one opinion there and another opinion like in Twitter or in Facebook. So it's well, what just happened? You were just disagreeing.
We lost your mic. Still nothing. How about now?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I
Is it
can
back?
hear you
Okay.
now.
I don't know what happened. It just
You got to
went out.
hold your head just right, apparently. All right, next is yeah. And by the way, Reddit, those people in there are brutal. Redditors.
Now let's hear from someone who actually uses Reddit. So I think it's interesting. The only thing I actually have to add to this is just to check and see if they can do localized targeting. I'm sure that they can, but the one time I tried it was years ago, and I don't think they had a very sophisticated targeting system. I think that's changed now that they've took on investors, so I'm sure that they have, but just make sure before you spend a lot of time looking into this that they can do actually what you want to do in terms of targeting.
Yeah. Yeah, and I remember Adam, when you attempted that for us for Semantic Mastery, and that was right after Reddit opened up their advertising platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it had to be pretty crude at that point, I'm sure. Okay, next is Chris says, hey guys, wondering if you have any recommendations for video syndication software. Back in the day, I used to use tubemogul. I used tubemogul too. I remember that before it got bought by Adobe. Is there anything good you guys use that is like IFTTT, but to help spread videos across different websites? No, but I looked at some of them, I don't know, 6 months, a year ago, somewhere around there. All I would do is just go look for like video distribution software or something like that, and just go search and start doing some, look at some of the different types of potential video distribution softwares out there. Maybe try different keywords, video syndication applications, something like that. Do a couple Google searches and just start researching what you find as different products, and find something that looks like it will fit for you. I know there's some out there because I'd actually looked at doing that a few months, I don't know, 6 months, a year ago. I just never pulled the trigger on it, but I do understand the point. So take a look at it. Anybody want to comment on that?
No.
Okay, moving. I didn't know if maybe Adam or Hernan had any ideas. Okay, next is Ed. Ed says, do you suggest copying and pasting the schema markup from the ID page to my SEO Shield, or the ID page of my SEO Shield onto my money site to mirror it best for implementation? Good idea, bad idea, any better ideas? Or should the ID page stay standalone? Don't want to F the money. Don't want to F up the money site. Thanks, Ed. Yeah, I mean, the structured data code on your ID page should be the same as what's on your money site, except for perhaps, at least the way that I do it, except for perhaps the URL from the schema code. So for example, the schema code that goes on the money site, the URL field points to the money site, right? And then there's the add ID page and all that other stuff, and that all points to where it's supposed to point to. But then on the ID page, I always put the URL as the ID page, and then the add ID page is also the same, but it's the same code essentially. And then the difference is the same as, in the same as schema, I always put the same as attribute on the money site points to, even though there's an add ID designation, I also point the same as to the ID page. Like I put a same as attribute to the ID page. And then likewise on the ID page, I have a same as attribute that points to the money site. Marco, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's I don't think the structured data should be any different on either one of them, really. Besides,
No, because you're mirroring your entity, except for the fact of that URL change.
That's right.
The same as changes, because now the schema page is the same as the money site, but the money site would then have the schema page same as.
Right.
So you need to flip those, and that's the only difference that you should have, because it's basically the same thing. You're distributing. It's an entity stack. It's your entity stack. That's all it is. And so everywhere that you can replicate the entity, the information should go there.
Yeah, and it should be the same, because you don't want to have different. Yeah, you don't want to have different entity info on different assets, because again, that can start causing ambiguation or confusion to Google's algorithm. So definitely keep it the same. That goes for the Press Advantage page too. Your organization page, same thing. I do the same thing there. It's the same schema code. It goes into, if you have an account, you can add your own structured data to the organization page. Do the same thing there. The URL points to the organization page, and then the same as attributes, it points to the money site and as well to the ID page and all of that. So it's the same code in all three locations. The only thing you do is swap out those couple targets to make it appropriate for the asset that it resides on, if that makes sense. Mr. Nashville, Tennessee. All right. He says, when creating PR stacks and uploading the press release PDFs to Amazon S3, how do we get the URL for the folder to build links to? I created a public folder and loaded it up with PDFs. The PDFs can be accessed publicly, but when I go back a level to the folder, it just tries to download a 0 bytes file without showing anything. You know, I don't know, because I've never done that. Marco might be able to answer that. I've never tried to power up an entire folder. I've only powered up individual file URLs within S3. So I don't know if you can do that or not. Marco, do you know? Can you make a folder public in S3?
You should be able to, but I've never tried. That's not what I use it for. And so I can't help with this unless I go look. If you're in the heavy hitter club, by all means, come in and we'll check it out for you. But I can't say anything about it without testing it.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering, yeah, that'd be something interesting to test, because even if you got a folder, the folder URL, but when you visit the folder URL, it's prompting a download. I understand that. But what I'm saying is, could you still pass juice to that URL, even if it's not like a destination that will render in a browser? In other words, if it might prompt a download.
As long as they're public.
But yeah, can you still push juice link equity into that folder, to that URL regardless, is what I'm saying.
I would say absolutely, as long as it's public.
Yeah, that's what I would think as well, but I haven't tested it. So that's interesting though. That would be an interesting test. Put that on your list for Heavy Hitter Club, Marco. The list just keeps growing and growing.
Yeah.
Georgie's up, says, hi guys, sorry if this is off topic, but was wondering if you knew of a good banner widget for WordPress. No, unfortunately I don't. I would just Google best banner widget for WordPress or best banner plugin for WordPress, and then just go start looking through them and try to find one that meets your criteria and your price range and all that kind of stuff. There's probably some free ones out there. Honest to God, though, I rarely use, other than some basic free plugins. Almost every time I have the opportunity to purchase the pro version of a plugin, I do, because they're usually rather inexpensive and you get a lot more functionality out of them and usually better support if needed and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, just I can't help you with that, unfortunately.
There's one that I used, but it wasn't based on location like the one he wants, but it was like banner rotator. It was like banner rotator.
Yeah.
I think that's the one that's how it was called. It was banner rotator. So it will rotate banners and will tell you the best performing ones in terms of CTR, something along those lines. So banner rotator plugin, I think it was for WordPress. But you know, like there you go. But ad rotate, that I think that was the one, ad rotate. But I'm not entirely sure if that will. Yeah, that was the one, ad rotate. But I'm not entirely sure if that will do what he wants, which is show different banners based on location and that stuff. That one's just used to rotate banners.
My guess is Ad Rotate Professional likely has that. That's what I was talking about, guys.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, a lot of the times the pro versions of the plugin will have so much more functionality that will, I don't know, I haven't researched this, but that looks like that might be one. Also, the fact that it was updated just 3 days ago, excuse me, right there, it says 3 days ago. That's really important too. That's also part of the reason why I like to go with plugins that have a paid upgrade version, because those plugins typically, even the free versions of them, as long as they have a paid upgrade version of them, are supported and constantly updated. If you go with strictly free plugins, a lot of the times, that's not always the case, but what I'm saying is a lot of times those plugins don't get updated as often because they don't have the revenue to support it, if that makes sense. So anyway, check out that. That might be one that works for you. Otherwise, just do some Google searching. Use Google.
You said WidgetLogic isn't updated, but you can get widgets control. There's other plugins that will control widgets so that you can display the banners where you want.
Yeah, another one I use is Widget Context. I like to use that one a lot. I've got that on multiple sites right now, actually. All right, so this one,
WidgetLogic isn't updated, but it still works.
Yeah. Okay, so why use? I read through this, and I appreciate you pointing. I'm not going to read this out loud because it's really just kind of an opinion that you have, not necessarily questions. And I appreciate that. Anybody that's watching this webinar can read through this if they'd like. As far as you basically saying using Microsoft OneDrive as opposed to just strictly Google Drive. And he points out several reasons as to why he says that might be wise. And that's cool. And I appreciate that. Those are all good points. And I do like how you thought this out with the new Windows 10 installations and it forcing, you know, or by default, it's using the Microsoft Edge browser and all that kind of stuff. So there's some real valid points that you make in your comments here. And I appreciate that. And I'm sure, I have no doubt in my mind that Marco and Rob, who are our resident SEO testers and, you know, godfathers of SEO, as Marco is called, I'm sure they'll test this if it gets to that point where we need to. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I would just add that it's the 80-20 rule. Where's most of my traffic coming from? If I can get the bulk of my traffic, I don't want to learn another, although it's like we basically know the algorithm because we know algorithms. It's just, yeah, I read the comments also and I appreciate it. And we have at times said, it depends on your niche, because if you're targeting older people, then of course it makes sense to go to Bing. But if you know your audience and you know that most of your audience is coming from Google, why would you go anywhere else?
Yeah.
Does it make sense? I always tell people, how much time are you going to spend on it? How much is it going to cost? And is that going then to make sense? How much are you then going to have to charge your client? And is that going to make sense to the client? All of these things have to come together. Yeah, I understand perfectly. It's older people. I've said this before, that it is older people in Bing and in AOL especially. How much financial sense does it make to dedicate that much time to targeting those people in Bing? When you've got your client maxed out, like when you can't do anything else for that client in Google, by all means go elsewhere. Until then, there's just so much money to be made manipulating Google that I don't need to go anywhere else.
Yeah, and that's kind of like, I do a lot of Google ad stuff for tree services now, and you know, I'm doing a lot of Google ad stuff, and I could run Bing ads too, but there's such a small percentage of traffic there, it's not worth my time to do it. So like Marcus said, 80-20. If 80% of my traffic comes from you know, Google alone, like why would I bother with the other 20%? Which would be Bing, you know. So again, I mean, not saying you can't. I'm just saying I don't do that just because, again, it's you know, I get a lot more bang for my buck, so to speak, by just working directly within Google. Okay.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I say yeah, absolutely. I agree. 100.
All right. Here's BB. What's up, BB? We wondered where you were, or I did, anyways. Hi guys. Does it matter if you have a backlink from HTTP rather than HTTPS site? No, it shouldn't matter. As far as I know, it doesn't matter at all. Marco, does it?
It doesn't really matter. What matters is the activity, trust, and authority of the site. Activity, relevance, trust, and authority of the website that's linking to you, not HTTP or HTTPS, or it shouldn't matter.
Yeah, as far as I know, it doesn't matter. I could be wrong about that, but you know, Marco says it as well. I agree. I've never really cared about that. Never looked into it much either, though. So. Anyways, why is the mgyb.co?
What's DRDS?
DSDR, I don't know. I
DSDR.
think domain score, domain rank, I think. But
Okay,
I'm not
which
it's a third-party metric.
Yeah, but which one? I can't keep track.
I don't know. I don't know if that's Ahrefs or I don't know. That might be SEMrush. I'm not sure.
Doesn't matter, BB. Makes no difference. DRDS or whatever the fuck. Relevance is what matters. Activity, relevance, trust, and authority. The relevance especially has to be there unless the trust and authority is such that it makes no difference that the link has no relevance. And there are those websites where if you can get a link from Google, no matter where you can get it, it's a good link.
Next question is, why is the mgyb.co more powerful than the raw URL as anchor? Straight to the money site backlink. I'm not sure I fully understand that question, except, do you?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're asking there, baby. If you want to clarify number two, I'll try to answer it later if we have time, which don't think we will today. But number three, you say the power of a backlink gets divided between multiple backlinks from the same article created for backlink purposes, such as a press release. So is it better to create multiple articles which have one link to the money site instead of an article which has 2 to 3 backlinks to the money site? And how does it fall within PR stacking? Yes, I mean, so here's the thing, you know, you have a certain amount of page rank or link equity, whatever you want to call it, flowing into a page, right? So let's say a press release, for example. Then if you've got one link within the content of that press release, then all of that page rank is going to flow through that one link, or there's some slight loss through the asset itself, the page itself, but it's small, it's nominal. But if you have 3 links, then it's going to be split by 3. So each link gets 33%. Does that make sense? So yes, if you want to focus more, then you can do that with one link. I typically, like I've said through like our PR stacking webinar and everything else, the way that I typically do it is I do 3 links. Usually it's going to be one link to a blog post if that's what I'm highlighting, which is primarily the method that I use. Then there's going to be a link to a previous press release within that same PR stack, that silo stack, right? Press release silo stack. And then there was usually a third link that goes to one of the branded assets, tier 1 assets. But it doesn't always have to be that way. If you're trying to push on a specific keyword or to push more power to a specific destination, then you could just do one link to that destination that you want to push to. Just keep in mind that if you want to keep that kind of daisy chain linking of the silos using the press release silo, then you're going to want to link back to the previous press release in that same silo. So there would be 2 links with that. But so what I'm saying is if you want to use PR silo stacking, then you would limit and you want to push more power to your target URL, other than the previous press release in that same silo, then you'd have 2 links in that press release. I typically, like I said, I just do 3 links. I do one to the target URL that I'm trying to push relevancy to, one to the previous press release in the same silo, and then one to one of the tier 1 entity assets for that brand. That's just the way that I develop my processes, and that's how my VAs or my bloggers order the press releases. So, but you can change it up. Remember, guys, we give you guidelines or like kind of best practices, but we encourage you to test other things as well. Okay. Any comments on that?
Yeah, I only use 2.
Okay.
The initial press release gets 1 link to the target page, and then 1 link elsewhere, usually GMB, to start it off. Then, as you know, we daisy chain those press releases, and then 1 other link will go elsewhere, but I'm pushing all of that juice from 1 press release to the other, and that final press release is going to the page, and then I do some other shit that I won't share here that has some fantastic fucking results.
So
and
it's
ridiculous.
To clarify, because I'm confused a little bit. So every subsequent press release in your PR silos only link to the previous press release, not to.
And then one other, like
okay, right.
T1 property. So 2 links per press release. Never any more than that. 2.
Right. Okay.
Two. One of those will be to a previous press release, of course, in that
same
stack.
Yeah.
And then wherever I want to push additional power, that will still end up. And now I'm giving away too much, but it all goes and works really well and flows really well. And right about press release 4 or 5, sometimes 3, you're going to start seeing that power push, and it pushes more. Then when you build links into that, when it's all set up and you're pushing, let's say into your GMB, and that's set up correctly, and you're pushing into the drive stack and gsite, and that's put together correctly, and that's pushing over to that page, that's when the magic happens, man.
Okay, we're almost out of time. I'd like to run through at least 3 or 4 more really quickly, guys. So let's go through like a lightning round if possible. Question from Paul F. He actually reached out to me via email with this question, and I said I'd address it today on Hump Day Hangouts. This question has come up multiple times, guys. Please understand that IFTTT is going to paid, but read what they say about the different plan levels, right? There's the free account, and it says you're only allowed to create 3 applets. You can turn on as many applets in your account as your heart desires, but you can only create 3 applets. Then you can go to a pro level, which you can pay like $2.99 a month or whatever the hell it is. It's very inexpensive. And there you can create applets. You can create unlimited applets. So my point is the free IFTTT accounts you can still have all of the syndication applets in that account and you can turn them all on. You can only create 3 applets within a free account. Okay. The paid account will allow you to create as many applets as you want. That's the only difference. So the point is, if you buy networks from us, you're still going to get the network, the IFTTT account set up with all the applets in there that we need for our syndication networks to work. Okay. You just can't go in and create any more than 3. And if you already have applets in that account that are all turned on, then I don't know, you might be able to create them in there, or if you've not created the ones that we provide. So my point is, just read what it says very carefully. And it specifically states that you can turn on as many as you want with the free account. You can only create 3 in a free account, though. You have to go to a paid account before you can create additional applets. Comment?
Nope. Perfect.
Olaf's next. How do we get prepared for Google turning off the old G sites? Do we know if the links will be redirected? Go into Google, your old G site, log into that, the sites.google.com, click to the classic sites. When you pull up and when you go to edit whatever sites are in there, right? So click the site, it'll prompt you to switch it or convert it to the new site. And then it went through that prompt process. It'll ask you to, if you want to keep the same URL or the old URL, check to keep the same URL. Otherwise, all of the old link building and everything else, I don't know if an automatic redirect is set up or not, because I've just always said keep the same URL and convert to the new sites. But at some point, Google is going to convert the old sites to the new sites on its own if you didn't go in and initiate that ahead of time before that deadline. Comments?
No.
Moving on. Jason Gerald says, I have purchased the keyword research, but would like a better understanding on how to use the Excel report. Do you have a video or something that can review this with me?
I can't remember if we did a video, but it tells you right in the legend. When you get the spreadsheet delivered, there's a legend on there that tells you exactly what each tab is and what it's for. If you need more information than that, then like, I'm not sure that we don't have enough time here, but I think we did a keyword research video. I've done it before where I've explained the link building gig and what to do, because the 3 categories that you get are free. It's all suggestions for you to follow, but you know your niche better than we do, and how those keywords that we give you in that niche apply to whatever it is that you're doing. All we can give you is suggested keywords, questions, answers, everything that we found relevant in your niche. Sometimes we do provide you some irrelevant results, but I mean, that's a small percentage of the overall thousands and thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of keywords that you get. Use the categories they're suggested categories. Use them as silos. Start your silos there, and then use the supporting keywords that we give you.
There you go. Man, there's a lot of good questions. I wish I had more time, guys. I'd stay and answer some more. Sorry, I'm not gonna be able to get to all these. Next is call purchase a syndication network. Wanted to know if feeds need to be full text or if summary will do. Also, any advice for optimizing the efficiency of syndication networks? Okay, I always prefer full text. The reason why is because summaries, when you go into WordPress settings, reading, then you can select whether the RSS feed shows a summary or full text of the posts in the feed. I like to select full text because, first of all, summary posts will look kind of spammy on the blog accounts within the syndication network. So Blogger, Tumblr, WordPress, they can look rather spammy because they're just short snippets as opposed to the full text posts. So there's not full context there. Also, I like the fact that when you have full text, then any internal links from your post body that you publish to your blog, right, with an internal link to the pages that you want to rank, silo architecture, internal linking strategy, all of that, those links will be present in the post that gets published on the blog accounts especially, but also in like the Drive, Google Docs, so like the Drive folder and all that. All of the full text means full text, including the links, will be included in wherever it gets syndicated to, where the full text is published. Some of those like bookmarking sites, it won't do that. But for the blogs and like WordPress and Drive and OneDrive and all of that, it will create those links as well. Okay. So I prefer that. Last question is 5 o'clock. We probably need to go. Really quick, Fit says, drop the link to the charity, Marco. Would you recommend?
I already did.
Okay.
I've also dropped some links to a YouTube video that we have on syndication networks that we did April of last year, and then the webinar that we did for mgyb.co for syndication networks also, for the one who was running about syndication.
Yeah. He asked, do we recommend a good form creator that would work for gsites? Well, I'm using an app called Lead Simplify for lead generation. It helps to distribute leads to buyers and that kind of stuff. And I've got a form creator in there that's awesome, and I use that in gsites. But I think any sort of like form builder plugin for WordPress, a lot of the times if you upgrade to a paid version, like I know there's like I think one that I just recently tried was Formidable is what it's called. But a lot of those form plugins, WordPress form plugins, will have a pro version. I just talked about that earlier. Which will give you the ability to create like embed codes out of the forms and that kind of stuff. So I would recommend that. Anybody here have any comments on that?
No.
No, same as you. Yeah, just find one that works and make sure it can embed.
Okay, and the last part of this, and then I've got to wrap it up, guys, is he asks if you're running a link building gig and instead of the 100 links that is asked for, you only run to 5 or 6. Is that a good strategy? Yeah, if it's, you don't have to submit 100 target URLs. We just say that's the maximum that you can submit. So yeah, if you've got, you know, if you've got very specific targets that you're trying to power up, then you don't need to submit any more than just those specific URLs. That's just we just provide that as a maximum so that when somebody gets like their syndication, their SEO Shield back, and they've got their syndication network properties, all their drive stack files and folders and all of that, you can put those all in one link building gig up to 100 target URLs and then submit all of that so that everything starts to get powered up. But all the time, there's a lot of the times I'll buy a link building gig specifically to just one URL. So literally, like even a Nitro Kit link building gig to go to one page on the G site if I'm really trying to push power to that one page for some reason. So yeah, it's just a guideline. Okay. Well, thanks everybody for being here. Don't forget POFU Live this weekend. If you haven't got your ticket yet, go to pofulive.com. We'll see you guys there. Thanks everybody.
Bye everyone.
Bye everyone.